They were baseball's first professional team, and as such, in 1869, the Cincinnati Red Stockings were baseball's only undefeated team. From that point on, baseball had a home in Cincinnati. A century later, the Reds were hailed as the team to watch in the 1970s. The entire Cincinnati organization was optimistic as it made plans for the new domain of the Big Red Machine. Old Crosley Field became a flea market for souvenirs of the past. In mid-season 1970, the switch was made. Riverfront Stadium became Cincinnati's Acropolis for the future. That same year, the All-Star ballot was returned to the fan, and the All-Star game was played at Riverfront. Pete Rose crashed the party in the bottom of the 12th to score the winning run for the National League. A 22-year-old catcher named Johnny Bench crashed 45 homers, won the MVP award, and led his team to a runaway division victory. And against Pittsburgh in the championship series, the Reds won 3 straight. Riverfront Stadium was now ready to host its first World Series. But the Baltimore Orioles brought back a familiar face, Frank Robinson, traded 4 years before from Cincinnati. Frank Robinson combined with Brooks Robinson to demolish Cincinnati pitching in 5 games. The team of the 70s also lost the series in '72, again falling just short at the finish line. But in 1975, a more mature Red Machine got into a winning gear that wouldn't be slowed, clinching the earliest title in history. The big names were there: Bench, Rose, Pérez, Morgan, and a blossoming George Foster. And to go with all that run production, manages Sparky Anderson's quick hook. A deep and young bullpen featuring left-hander Will McEnany and right-hander Raleigh Eastwick helped the Reds to 108 regular season wins and a 3-game sweep in the championship series. If ever the Reds were ready for a world championship, it was now, and the fans really got their money's worth. Cincinnati fought through 7 hard games with Boston in the most exciting fall classic of the decade. The '75 series may have done more to promote new interest in baseball than anything else. When Will McEnany delivered the final pitch to Carl Yastrzemski, the Reds had at last won their first World Series in 35 years. A year later at Yankee Stadium, the Reds were back in the series, and Johnny Bench back in his power groove.
Get out, boy! Get out of here! Get out of here! Boys, I got news for you. We're going to be world champions again, Sugar Bear. I got news for you. We are now going to be world champions again.
With Bench making an impressive comeback from injury, Cincinnati made a clean 4-game sweep of the Yankees. Sparky Anderson thought it time for the experts to rate his club among the best of all time.
Danny, that's the boy. Hey, you big cat, you. That boy.
1976 was the convincing victory Cincinnati so long desired.
You are going to make Cincinnati the baseball capital of the world. Thank you.
It seemed like the rare union between this city and this team was unshakable, but time was in fact running out. Tony Pérez became the first to go, traded to Montreal. Pete Rose became a free agent. Then the most surprising news came from club president Dick Wagner.
The past 2 years have been good ones by the standards of most teams, but we are determined to set a higher standard. It is our decision that the move we make is in the overall best interest of making the Cincinnati Reds a better team. We feel John McNamara offers outstanding ability and strong major league experience. He's the man to take us in a new direction.
John McNamara replaced Sparky Anderson, who had averaged 96 wins per season. And Ray Knight replaced Pete Rose at third. Neither were given much chance for success, but both surprised big. Knight hit over 300 and drove in a lot of runs. And behind a staff of promising young arms, McNamara's band of Reds won the National League West. They couldn't beat Pittsburgh for the pennant, but Cincinnati had made a transition for the 1980s.
You're going to see a different type of team in the 80s compared to in the 70s. We might not possess as much power as we had in the past, but we're going to have guys hitting for more averages and stealing more bases. And you're going to feel that find that we're going to have the pitching is going to be much stronger. So I just feel that it's going to be a good ball club, but we might not possess as much power as we had in the 70s, but we're still going to be good.
So the club, hailed as the team of the 70s, endured the decade of transition. No one's yet calling this club the team of the 80s, but with the Cincinnati Reds, you never know.